Well, Antony to be removed or dropped by Man United from its squad. Story broke yesterday night and it's coming in from Brazil. It's a newspaper or a channel or a Twitter handle that released the story of Antony being dropped from the Brazilian national, meaning that United are really considering to do that. We are obviously going to come out and obviously give you a verdict on what we think about that. Then we have another story concerning Wan-Bissaka, new talks, new contract at Man United. Does he deserve it or he doesn't deserve it? All of that and more into the comment section below. I have one of my viewers, let me look for his name here, whether I can really find it. He came out and obviously asked me about the injury of Lisandro Martinez. I'm going to let you know whether Lisandro Martinez or Lindelof that they took off from the field of play as United played against what was the side? As United played against Arsenal, is either injured or not, and that is Katinisa Wencelas. I don't know whether I've gotten your name well. You asked me about whether Lisandro Martinez is injured or not. So Katinisa, you are going to obviously get the answer from me today. So we thank God for the gift of life. Smash the like button, comment and share. If you're already watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. My most viewers and subscribers, Barak Lau Fiko. Now, let's start it off with Antony. We all know that after the game of Arsenal, the story of Antony really came back to the news, and it looked like there are certain influencers pumping it because they knew to it that Brazil had to play certain games at home, and they obviously had to lift the story up, and the story was blossoming, and after its booming, guess what happened? Antony was found not guilty, but the body that governs the football or football activities in Brazil, CBF, found it safe for Antony not to travel to Brazil and obviously play for the national team, because he might obviously get hurt by some women who believe that maybe what he did was not good. So as it stands, he is dropped from the national team of Brazil, and Gabriel Jesus of Arsenal has gone ahead to take his position, and it looks like it's really getting worse on Antony's side, and even Manchester United is evaluating removing Antony after new complaints from ex-girlfriend. That is it. So it's really bad for Antony, it's really bad for Manchester United, because we are running short of players. You wouldn't like the team like Man United to be going through this as another player is out of action, because we've had many players, you know, this season, and you've seen it all, that we've had very many players out because of injuries. First and foremost, Malacia, Kobe Menu, Luke Shaw, Mason Mount, Rafael Varane, Tom Heaton, you know, 6 players are out injured. You understand? They are out injured. 6 players are out injured, and then you miss out on Antony. Amidst me not agreeing with the manager, obviously, on Antony, that he has gone ahead to obviously play him very many games, and he looks like he's not improving. I've seen the likes of Arsenal legends, that is Ian Wright, calling him a flop, that why does he play Antony onto the right? He has gone ahead to obviously click, you know. But I would love to see him available. That is it. I would like to see him available and not perform. Then Eric Ten Hag reach an extent and obviously understand that maybe this experiment of Antony has gone ahead to fail, and Antony no longer deserves to play 70 or 80 minutes. He deserves to play only 20 or 30 minutes on the field of play. And if at all that's the solution to the problem of Antony, then it will work out well like a charm, because maybe he needs to come out and play some 20 minutes, you know, 30 minutes into the game, because players will obviously, or the teams or our opponents will be obviously tired, and spaces will be there for him to exploit, you know. That is the big question. So I didn't want this to happen, but you know, when push comes to shove, you understand that the fact has to remain a fact and the solution has to be obviously observed. With him being into the same ilk with what Greenwood was into, remember Greenwood was an academy player, you know, born and bred at Man United, and by the time the cases came to the public eye, Greenwood was one of the best players at the club of Manchester United. You know that very well. And he was still young, 19 years of age. That's when all that ruckus came up and United sacrificed their own. To my understanding, his value by the time was more than £100 million. That is it. And for Antony, however much you got him for £85 million, I don't think there is nothing bigger than the reputation of the club. Now, with the yardstick set by Man United on really suspending Greenwood, not indefinitely, I think this should be one of the considerations. And if at all they don't do this, then it's not going to look well. There are fans that are really pissed by Greenwood going away to Getafe. I have my friend of mine called Dami, and he told me yesterday when he sent me that video of Greenwood training at Getafe. Do you know what he told me? He told me that, Rokan, I'm feeling pain. I'm feeling pain because I would have liked to see that boy play at Man United. You know, so there are those who are going to crop Greenwood and Antony calling for justice from Man United. You know, and this is a very trying moment for the board of United and Richard Arnold, because they reacted fast to obviously put out Mason Greenwood from the squad. You know, now people are waiting and to see what they are going to do to this guy, that is Antony, because almost the same charges, though because the photos put out are not as disturbing as those of the girlfriend of Mason Greenwood that put out. That is it. So, as it stands, United are contemplating on dropping Antony. I don't know what your thoughts are, but I wouldn't like to see it that way because we're into a crisis of players. But you obviously have to know that when you do what calls for this, then no one will stand in your way. That is it for Antony. So that puts us in a situation of a very big question, that who are players available that can play into that position. One is Facundo Pellistri, a player that most of us have obviously known being good, low center of gravity, but he has a natural cross on him, especially when he goes towards the byline. We've seen him beat players on the byline. That is Facundo Pellistri, and he has gone ahead to obviously show us what he's obviously made of. So that is one of the things that you anticipate from him. I'm talking about Eric Ten Hag, that Facundo Pellistri might be under consideration. The other player would have been Jadon Sancho, but we don't know what Ten Hag and the board of United are going to decide. If they decide to keep him, then Sancho might have gone ahead to get a lifeline at Man United to come out and prove himself onto the right wing. That is it. And he's a player who has always gone ahead, obviously showcased to us what he's good about. The other one is playing Bruno Fernandes onto the right wing, and obviously play Sofian Amrabat, Casemiro, and Eriksen into the midfield three. That is also possible because Ten Hag has ever tried it out, playing Bruno onto the wing. Even Garnacho or Rashford could be played onto the right attacking side of the midfield. That is it. So wait and see how that pans out, but your reactions to Antony to be dropped by Man United are welcome in the comment section below. Do you think he deserves to be dropped by Man United? Yes or no? I know what people like Nachtend are going to come out and say, because they really they're really vocal about this situation after I put out a story of this guy. Now let's leave Antony alone and let's get to the story coming in from a source of Man United concerning Aaron Wan-Bissaka. They've gone ahead to confirm to us that Manchester United have opened talks over extending Aaron Wan-Bissaka's contract following his progress under Erik ten Hag. Discussions have taken place in the last month to keep him at Man United under a long-term contract. More talks. That is it. Now, if you're Aaron Wan-Bissaka, this comes as music to your ears because they say hard work pains but pays. The process that Aaron Wan-Bissaka really went through is really painful because he spent the entire first half of the season before he went to the World Cup having played only, I think, there are 10 minutes in the Liverpool game. That is it. But he waited and waited and waited. He kept calm. He kept his composure. And he comes to get his chance after Dalot got an injury last season in the World Cup. Then then Aaron Wan-Bissaka got his time to prove us. And obviously, he's improving game after game, day after day, training after training. And Ten Hag is now impressed by his progress. He's coming from a player who was not wanted at the club of Man United by Erik ten Hag to leave. And now he's one of the players that you name in the starting 11 of Manchester United. That is it. And I think he's still positive that if Edin Ketia, who had gone ahead not to be invited or called up for the English national team, finally got his call is near. According to me, his call is near because that right back position is obviously competitive at the English national team. But with the performances coming in from Aaron Wan-Bissaka, you really anticipate that things will go on as planned, and obviously will give Aaron Wan-Bissaka the benefit of doubt and keep himself into the know of obviously showing up when wanted at the English national team. And I obviously want to see him play there, but I think one thing that is really restricting him is his offensive play. If Bissaka improves on his offensive play, of which he is, but we need to see more crosses, we need to see more assists, and more involvements of him in the final third of the pitch, then he'll obviously get himself there. And I think what is also not playing to his advantage is the way United is playing right now. We are not controlling the game, and when you're not controlling the game, you don't expect him to obviously be there into the final third, obviously put in crosses. But if Atoli can master that art, then he's going to be one of the best right backs in the world. And Ten Hag has the right to obviously improve him and make him a better player. Then we started off with certain players that really got off the field of play as United took off Arsenal. One of those was Lindelof, and today the manager of the Sweden national team has been asked on how Lindelof is. He said everything is fine, there are no problems, he's operational. So that is it. So Lindelof is obviously fit, and that's a photo he really posted on his Instagram confirming to us that he's obviously fit. Then we go to Lisandro Martinez. He's another one that most of you were really talking about and asking me about. The guy is fit. Lisandro Martinez is fit, and he has been seen taking part in the training session at the national team of Argentina. That's Lisandro Martinez for you. And now the big question is, what really happened for these players into that game of Arsenal? Why did these two players get off? I told you in the match reaction that I saw Lindelof using his hands to support his body by obviously bending down and obviously touching his waist, meaning that he was really tired. These players were not injured, but they burnt out of steam. That is it. They burnt out. Now, what is the preseason for? If these players can burn out, especially for Lisandro Martinez, in just 70 minutes, he burns out. And for Lindelof, with 10 minutes to the end of the game, he burns out too, Then something has to be answered. But they're really looking fit, and everything is going to go on as planned. So guys, thank you very much for watching through. Tell me your thoughts about Antony to be removed from United squad into the comment section below. What do you make about What do you make about Lisandro Martinez and Lindelof being okay? So why did they leave the field of play? And lastly, what do you make about Aaron Wan-Bissaka contract being discussed by Man United? I cover it all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. May the living to God bless you abundantly. My Muslim viewers and subscribers, Barakallahu fikum. Peace out for now.